Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So before we get into this transformation, I wanted to kind of recap of what this client was before. I didn't have a full YouTube video on her transformation, unfortunately, but I did post her before and after on my Instagram. And so she came in with some color on her mids and ends, and then she had kind of like a pink streak. We did my signature placement, but did a more dimensional route because she doesn't want to feel too blonde, and we did try to cancel out some of that pink to kind of neutralize it so that it would fade out a little bit better, so we could do another round of gray blending for this appointment that we're going to be showing you today. And then how is the fade and everything and like the grow out process? Like, were your roots bugging you at all?
No, it grew up beautifully.
How many months ago was the touch-up that we did?
6 months.
It was 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you use any like purple shampoo at all or anything?
You know, not really.
Okay.
I bought it, but I didn't end up liking the, like I liked it when it was kind of coming out a little bit more.
Yeah. And then how did your hair feel after the color too? Like your curls and everything?
You know, it wasn't actually that dry. I was expecting it to be really like wasted, but it was,
it felt fine, like right off the bat? You didn't feel like it took time? Okay, cool. So what do you like about this color?
I love the kind of frostiness of it, the like whitish silvery gray color.
Okay, so yeah, we'll definitely try to get this a little bit lighter and more like closer to the photos, and then these pieces that are in the front I'm gonna lighten up so we can try and get it more silvery.
Awesome.
Grow out softer. So this is what her hair is looking like 6 months after that initial appointment. You can see her hair didn't lighten as light of a blonde tone last time due to her previous color, which is totally fine because today I'm going to be going in and trying to lighten it all up a little bit more, but just really trying to blend with her gray. She really doesn't have a lot of like white patches. She has pretty sporadic like silver hairs throughout, but she definitely has a lot more dark and pepper versus more of that silver white. So we want to kind of maintain a lot of that depth and darkness that she naturally has beautifully, because I want it to grow out super soft. So today we're going to be doing a placement very similar to last time since it's been 6 months, and I really just want to focus on getting these pieces as light as possible. So I'm going to start in the back doing a baby light around her nape of her hairline, and then I'm going to go straight into my mohawk section, which is going to take this center up the back of the head, and this is just going to go all the way to the front until we hit her money piece area. And the reason why I'm not focusing too many foils back here is because we want something that's going to grow out really soft, very dimensional. And when I'm doing my foils, I want to make sure that I get the cleanest, most even, and lightest lift. So I want to try and make sure that my foils and sections are extremely thin and see-through. You can see this foil, you can see right through the hair, and you can see behind to the other side of the foil to try and get it as light as possible. And as I'm going in, I'm making sure that these foils are pretty spread out apart too. And since we did her highlights last time, so today we're going to be really picking out a little bit more of that dark tone. And then whatever is left outside and isn't as light, we are going to relighten those areas so that she can tone to a really nice pretty silver at the end to help with the grow out. She really didn't mind the warmth either from her last color. She did like the way that it faded, and I think it complemented her skin tone either way, whether she does an ashy tone or a warm tone. But since our goal is to overall just have something that is going to grow out really soft and complement her natural gray, we're going to be trying to aim to do something as ashy as possible for that reason. And since everything else is pretty dimensional, she does like that the front is a little bit lighter, so we're going to be doing a more stronger, bolder money piece for her so that it complements her haircut. I find that when we're doing bobs like this, you don't really need to emphasize lighter ends per se, but sometimes it looks really nice to have a bold money piece for shorter hair because it kind of frames the whole haircut in that sense. So for that bolder money piece, I'm going to be doing some very paper thin slices back to back. and I did about 3 before I start adding some negative space to kind of connect that money piece to the rest of the mohawk. And for the lightener, we are using the Danger Jones lightener. I started off with a tiny bowl of just like mixture of 5 volume and 20 volume, and then for the rest of the head we're going to just be using 20 volume. So one of the things that I've noticed with this lightener is I do know that the lightener is formulated with bonder, and I've been asking all of my clients since I've switched over how their hair feels after we do a full lightening service, because honestly we all know that when we go this light, trying to get as silver and gray as possible, we are pushing the hair to its lightest point, and it's really important to have a lightener that can ensure the health of the hair too, and the texture. So my client does wear her hair more curly most of the time. She does style it from time to time, but it's really important for her to have something that isn't going to dry out her hair too much. And she did mention that her hair felt pretty good. She did say that using purple shampoo could dry it out, so she wasn't using it too often. But overall, I feel like this bleach, even though it is quite powerful, it really does maintain the integrity of the hair and keeping it nice and soft, because I feel like it never feels like the hair is totally over processed or anything like that. Like even after I do full color correction with this lightener or any type of blonding service to where my clients are trying to push the hair to get it to that silver gray tone, I always have the best results with this lightener because it still keeps the hair intact and the hair still feels quite amazing after doing a full lightening service like this. But with that being said, I do try to make sure that I don't go over 20 volume. I actually have never gone over 20 volume with lightener unless like maybe I'm doing like an all over color with permanent color. That's maybe when I'll go over 20 volume. But I normally never go over 20 volume for any type of bleaching service because I just feel like 20 volume gives it a really steady lift. It gives it enough power to where it can get to a level 9 and 10 from even the darkest levels, and that is totally key when doing any type of gray or silver transformation, because you want to maintain the integrity of the hair yet get it as light as possible in a very steady route. And I feel like sometimes 10 volume can get you there, but it just might take a little bit longer, and sometimes I will use 10 volume, but I feel like 20 is like a good standard amount of time as far as processing. And then I feel like 30 volume would just probably be a little bit of overkill. No shade to anyone that uses 30 volume, but I just feel like 20 volume just works better in my opinion, especially when you mix it 1 to 2 with the developer. And again, I'm not saying if you use above 20 volume that it's terrible. I'm just saying that from my experience, I just feel like the hair just feels better when you're doing a lifting service like this, to get it really light, to use 20 volume. Okay, so now that I've done her root foils, for her root foils too, by the way, I connected her money piece with diagonal backs around the hairline. I went and did a foil above the ear and then did some slices up the sides to connect the side to the mohawk. And right now I'm really just picking out her old highlights that we did last time and any new ones that I feel like have a lot of warmth in her hair, and we are going to be teasing and just tipping them out and weaving whatever is necessary. And again, this is just going to be with 20 volume because I want to create the illusion that her root is darker and the ends are lighter, so that when her roots grow in naturally, the natural dimension of her hair blends so seamlessly to the rest of the color. So really quick, I want you guys to know that as I'm pulling out these foils, I left the hair in my hand, and I'm doing that on purpose so that I could rinse out the root where it was virgin and applying a little bit of lightener and putting it back into the foil on the mids and ends where she had previous color, because I didn't use different developers for this, and we know that she had previous color on her mids and ends. So what that's doing is the parts that are ready I am rinsing, and then I'm leaving the lightener on the ends to process a little bit more to kind of even out the canvas. And ever since I started doing this, it has changed the game for me, especially with color corrections or those clients that have previous color on their mids and ends that just need to be brightened up without having to section or make a mess. It's like a really quick, easy tip to relighten those ends after you have highlighted the root of them. So now I'm going to be going in with some of my favorite toners. I'm using the Danger Jones gloss toners. We're going to be using a 5-1 and mixing that with a 7-1 to create a 6-1, which is a level 6 ash. I love their gloss toners because it creates the most beautiful seamless shadow roots for my gray hair clients, and I feel like their ash in this is like the perfect balance of blue. I never have to worry about this color like turning the hair green with it being on the bluer side. I feel like it's a very controlled and balanced ash tone to where it just creates the most seamless blend. And then after that, I'm going to be going in with some of the artistic toners. And I'm using some of the silver with a little bit of the cool blonde and the violet blonde to create more of like a true silver type of tone. I like to add in the other colors just to kind of give it a bit of a purple hue, but I love the depth that this toner gives.
Color feel.
Ooh, I love the lightness up here. Cool.
It blends really well.
Yeah. And will this get brassy if I don't use the purple shampoo?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
But not as brassy as you were before. I lightened everything. So when it does, it's going to be even lighter blonde.
Cool.
Yeah, it won't be as orangey yellow.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a really pretty blonde.
Okay.
Yeah.
The orangey yellow too wasn't that bad in the
It
color,
honestly
you
wasn't
know?
against your skin tone. Like
Yeah.
the way you came in, it looked fine.
Yeah.
Like you didn't need your hair done, but like it's nice to like get your roots and everything touched up. But it still looks fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had color grow out like that. It was great.
Yeah, 6 months is good. That's really good.
Ooh. Oh my god, I love it.
So ashy now.
Amazing.
Yay!
Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look. I love that we were able to kind of just maintain a lot of that depth in her hair and really just focus on like complementing and subtly highlighting to match her gray pattern. I know for a fact that this is gonna grow out and fade beautifully, and if she loved the last color, this is gonna just fade out even better than her last color. And like I said before too, she doesn't have to use the purple shampoo if she doesn't entirely want to. I know that her hair is a bit on the curlier side and she was worried about it drying out her hair a little bit, and so with her not using the purple shampoo, she would just fade into a really pretty blonde. It'll fade into an ash blonde first before it fades into more of a lighter blonde, but it won't be as warm as what she came in with. So I feel like she'll definitely love the fade of this, and who knows, maybe I'll see her just once a year, or maybe she'll be back within that 6-month mark. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.